In 1970, American Motors Corporation wasn't just the smallest of Detroit's automakers, it was a company fighting for its very survival. Meanwhile, giants like GM, Ford, and Chrysler dominated the landscape with their massive factories and seemingly unlimited budgets. AMC was gasping for air and was desperate for any possible way to stay relevant in this increasingly competitive market. But then came a massive shift. American consumers, long devoted to massive cruisers, were beginning to show interest in smaller, more efficient vehicles. If that wasn't enough, many grew particularly fond of foreign imports like the VW Beetle. The Big Three acted fast. They were already developing their responses. Ford with the Pinto, Chevrolet with the Vega, and Chrysler with the Valiant. Each competitor was pouring tens of millions into creating purpose-built small cars. But AMC's financial reality was brutally different. The company had recently gambled nearly every spare dollar they had to purchase Kaiser Jeep Corporation. The company was simultaneously developing the Hornet, their new compact car offering, stretching their engineering resources to the breaking point. There simply wasn't money for another clean sheet design. Enter Dick Teague, AMC's design chief. Rather than admit defeat, Teague sketched a radical concept. What if they simply chopped off the back portion of the Hornet they were already developing? The result was a shortened wheelbase with an abrupt rear-end profile that looked utterly unlike anything on American roads. AMC could then create an entirely new model category with minimal additional investment. Teague's sketch wasn't just clever, it was revolutionary in its approach to cost-effective product development. AMC executives, recognizing their precarious position, approved the design with minimal changes. This streamlined development process allowed them to beat Ford and Chevrolet to market by a crucial 6 months. On April 1, 1970, April Fool's Day no less, the Gremlin made its official debut in showrooms. The choice of launch date seemed to acknowledge the car's name and unconventional appearance. But behind its quirky exterior, the Gremlin's mechanical approach was brilliantly pragmatic. AMC reused proven components wherever possible, including their faithful inline-six engines, along with interior parts shared with the Hornet. This didn't just save money, it improved reliability by using established mechanical systems rather than untested innovations.
America's lowest priced car is the economical AMC Gremlin.
The decision paid off massively at the dealership. AMC could price the Gremlin at a remarkably accessible $1,879, equivalent to about $12,500 today. This made it one of America's most affordable cars. The pricing put it squarely in competition with the popular Beetle, while offering more power and interior space, and crucially, an American nameplate. The Gremlin wasn't merely a new model. It represented AMC's last stand, a bold gamble that would either establish the company's relevance or become its final embarrassment. Well, little did they know, the automotive gods were about to smile on AMC's desperate gamble. In October of 1973, OPEC countries turned off their oil spigots to punish American support of Israel. Fuel prices didn't just rise in the U.S., they quadrupled overnight. The American landscape changed dramatically. Service stations became battlegrounds of frustration as cars lined up for blocks. Those massive Detroit sedans with their thirsty V8 engines suddenly looked less like status symbols and more like financial burdens. For AMC, however, this crisis became an unexpected windfall. The Gremlin sales explosion tells the story. 122,000 units moved in 1973, nearly doubling the previous year's figures. By 1974, at the height of the energy crisis, that number ballooned to an astonishing 171,000 Gremlins, production volumes that would have seemed utterly fantastical for tiny AMC just a few years earlier. But what made this awkward little car suddenly so appealing? At 21 miles per gallon, the Gremlin's 6-cylinder engine delivered fuel economy that represented significant savings when compared to the typical American sedan. Buyers wanted domestic manufacturing, but needed efficiency. And so the Gremlin hit a sweet spot that neither imports nor domestic full-size models could match. But that wasn't all. Because while more glamorous competitors required frequent repairs, the Gremlin just kept running. And this reliability wasn't accidental. It stemmed directly from AMC's parts bin engineering approach that some critics had initially derided as corner cutting. The Gremlin's engine wasn't cutting edge, but it was proven and durable. And if that wasn't enough, the Gremlin offered something else increasingly rare, a sense of personality. Its unconventional styling, once seen as awkward, took on a new character, distinctive and instantly recognizable in a sea of similar vehicles. Had the oil crisis never happened, the Gremlin might have remained a modest seller. Instead, external circumstances transformed its compromises into virtues. But after serving admirably during the oil crisis, the Gremlin's public image took a decidedly different turn. The little car with the chopped-off back end became the vehicle of choice for society's outcasts. Meanwhile, The Simpsons took aim in a Halloween special where the car is mistaken for an actual gremlin monster. The Gremlin seemed destined to live on only as a vehicular joke, a four-wheeled emblem of dorky Americana that time would gradually erase. But as the 2000s gave way to the 2010s, something unexpected began happening. The very qualities that once made the Gremlin an object of ridicule started to stand out in parking lots. In a world of smooth, wind tunnel-shaped crossovers, the Gremlin's unapologetic angularity suddenly felt refreshing. Television and film productions discovered that the Gremlin could serve as more than just a visual joke. Shows like Stranger Things began featuring Gremlins not as punchlines, but as perfect period details. The collector car market also responded accordingly. Well-preserved examples started commanding serious attention at auctions. This strange little car transcended its role as a mere vehicle to become a genuine cultural touchstone. But the Gremlin isn't the only underdog car in that time period. The Mini Cooper was also doubted, but managed to come out on top.